So I would just ask this restaurant owner and all other merchants to be patient.
If it's anything like we've seen in the past, we experience a minimum of a 60 to 70% decrease in income.
And I know it's difficult. We have put in place the measure to help them financially. We've done that.
I mean, provincially, we haven't gotten anything from Quebec. It's been all federal. We've gotten empty promises as usual. That's all they like to give.
So I'm just saying, let's make sure that we don't go back. And let's go and do those measures gradually. That's the only thing I could say.
We'd like to say to other restaurants that are leaning or on the fence that there are hundreds and hundreds of people who are ready to fill up any restaurant who are ready and willing to join.
Warning, censorship. Warning, censorship.
Hello everyone. Here is something interesting that will happen in Quebec next Sunday on January 30. A civil disobedience movement has been instigated by restaurant owners, sport associations, store owners, and other entrepreneurs with the intention of reopening on that day without requiring the QR code associated with the vaccine passport. This caused quite a stir, to the point that Christian Dubé, Quebec Health Minister, specifically asked during a press conference to be patient and not to reopen for the moment.
So I would just ask this restaurant owner and all other merchants to be patient. I know it's difficult. We have put in place the measure to help them financially. We've done that.
Here is what the owner of the Kesté restaurant in Montreal had to say about this movement. Why it's really important for you to join the movement to reopen on the 30th of January without vaccine passport?
So for us, the main reason we're doing this is because we think it's time that we all notice that there's time for change. And we think that if you just ask for one portion of the population that are vaccinated to come in, you're not going to get nearly as much support. You're not going to make as much of an impact and as much of a message. So we think by including everybody, because at the end of the day, we're all in this together. It's not like this is just one portion of the population that's faced with this issue. So I think it's important that you include everybody. And I mean, it is discriminatory to do what is being done right now. And I mean, it's important that we all band together and make a difference as a unit rather than just separating society like is being done right now.
How did you receive the decision from the government that they decide to close all the restaurants on the 31 of December? It was the same kind of decision that it took from last Easter. What was the impact on your business that day?
So as per usual, they announced it last second. They don't give any forewarning. They just throw it on you. And so, I mean, for us, it wasn't as much of an impact as other restaurants. We still lost half of our staff that aren't coming back because, I mean, they're fed up at this point. They don't want to go into an industry that are going to be going on chômage, off of chômage, onto chômage. It doesn't make sense. So we lost half of our staff. Well, we've been closed ever since the last closing because we just were like, I mean, it's mentally just very frustrating. So we've been closed for the past 2 weeks. If it's anything like we've seen in the past, we experienced a minimum of a 60 to 70% decrease in income. So that's another big thing we all experience. But for us, our food costs and our costs aren't as high as other restaurants. But for other restaurants that have much higher costs, meaning rent, food costs, if you have steaks or if you have fish, your costs obviously be a lot higher. Your food expires a lot quicker. So for them, they all go ready in anticipation for New Year's, and they were only told the day before. So for some restaurants, for example, because of also the SAQ's been on strike, everyone had to pre-buy all their alcohol. Some restaurants bought over $100,000 worth of alcohol. They bought tens of thousands of dollars worth of food that, unfortunately, had to just be either, well, the alcohol you can always return, but the food has to get thrown away. Mm-hmm. So it was a big loss for everybody, and it was, like usual, very last second without any warning and without any consideration to what we've all been through for the past 3 years. It's the governmental help has definitely helped federally. I mean, provincially, we haven't gotten anything from Quebec. It's been all federal. We've gotten empty promises as usual. That's all they like to give. And but I mean, on Quebec's end, they haven't helped. Federally, they did provide rent subsidies and staff subsidies that definitely helped a lot. But I mean, we don't need the money. Like, keep us open and give that money to hospitals that actually need it. There's no need to close us, keep on funneling money into restaurants to keep them open while they're closed, and then not give anything to hospitals that are still struggling. Like, it's just counterintuitive if you're saying the hospitals are in need of help, not us. So keep the hospitals open. I mean, keep the restaurants open and give that money to the hospitals and actually fix the issue rather than just closing endlessly for the next God knows how many years.
And since you announced that you will reopen and disobey to the regulation of the government on the 30th of January, how the population did react to your choice, your decision?
Overall, I'd like to say it's been very, very positive. So I'd like to say a good, I can't give an exact percentage, obviously, I'm just basing myself because it's me who's been answering all the messages on Instagram and on Facebook and going through them. Minimum 70%, like minimum 70%, it's been completely positive. We've had obviously, like everyone has their own opinions on situations, and we all have to respect that. And we've had a good, like about a 30% just whatever comments, and we've had like 5% of the comments just completely just awful, just not even just becomes a discussion, just becomes a hatred towards somebody based on their views on life. So I mean, that's just, we knew we were going to face it, so it's obviously it's part of it, and we knew it was going to come. And I mean, we work in a restaurant, so you're always gonna deal with unhappy people. So it's part of it all.
Do you know a lot of other restaurants who will open the same day?
So as of now, we know that there's going to be, well, we're getting messages and we're going back and forth with a lot of restaurants. As of now, confirmed, we have obviously ourselves, Cafeteria Europea in Laval. We have one restaurant in Quebec City that we're talking to that will be announcing tomorrow. So I'm not going to give their name, I'll let them announce it. They'll be announcing as well. And then we also saw today that Saint-Houblon will be joining as well. They have 3 locations in Montreal. And then besides that, there's also Maison Istanbul in Laval as well, who will be opening. Putting your business at risk is something that is definitely scary for everybody. I mean, we risk losing licenses, we risk heavy fines, we risk losing the support of our clientele, because I mean, you're not guaranteed to have support. You could either receive it or have people completely against you. So there's definitely that as a fear factor to make people jump in. And another thing we'd like to say to other restaurants that are leaning or on the fence, that there are hundreds and hundreds of people who are ready to fill up any restaurant, who are ready and willing to join. And I'm sure I've seen that there's a ton of people who are ready to support anything that a restaurant may do. There's a bunch of lawyers who are ready to back anybody up. We have a community. Canada is strong. Canada is not divided as we all think. I mean, there is a lot of people ready to jump on this cause and a lot of people ready to make change on this movement. So we will still be following all the sanitary measures because, like I said, we really want to push the fact that we want everybody on board. So there are people who are against the mask. Obviously, there are people who are for it. There are people for everything. So we're trying to find the middle ground where everyone can meet in the middle and feel safe if they come in one, because we obviously don't want our clients to come in feeling like they're going to get sick and leave being sick. So we're going to follow all the sanitary measures. We're having a crew come in next week to properly clean the place. We're looking into getting some HEPA filters to also make the quality of the air in the place. I mean, it's going to clear out the air and remove 99% of bacteria as well. So we are going to be following ways to show that, look, there's a way where we can meet in the middle, and there's a way where we can do this properly, where you don't have to close us all the time. There's a way we can do this properly and efficiently, and there's no need for us to be closed. Because, I mean, like we all know, there's no statistic, there's no fact that says it was us. Now you're just pointing fingers and taking the blame off of yourselves.
Mm-hmm. So far, we can count more and more establishments joining in. Some of them want to reopen, but keeping the sanitary measure in place, while others simply want to remove the vaccine passport that discriminates against a part of the population. We can feel the impatience of the population for the reopening of these businesses. While they go down smoothly, that remains to be seen, but Ribbon News will be there to bring you the other side of the story. This was Alexa for Ribbon News. If you want us to fight against these vaccine passports, please go to fightvaccinepassport.com. Chip in generously so we can hire top-notch lawyer to go against it. And if you think you are a specific case, please fill the form at the same webpage, fightvaccinepassport.com. Thanks.